stock market specifically. Let's look at my watch list here. You can see it on the right hand side. Plays for next week stocks. 9 stocks to keep an eye on for next week. That means there's 9 opportunities here, some better than others. And let us start with Google. But before we even jump into that, let's look at the market as a whole. So SPY, we've been recovering from this downtrend here. We might not even enter an extended 3 to 4 month dump. We broke out of this downtrend. MACD is about to cross. It already did cross over. QQQ, same thing. I believe we are crossing over on the MACD. Yep, and we broke out of that downtrend. And you'll notice this pattern with every stock. Nvidia, of course, tends to lead the market. Broke out of its downtrend as well, and the MACD is about to cross over. Now, for those of you who don't understand what that means, the MACD, especially the newer people, the MACD crossing over usually, not always, but usually indicates upside. So we'll zoom in here real quick and let me see. There we go. I knew something wasn't right. So the crossover in the MACD happens here, you'll notice. And we climbed, after that MACD crossover, we climbed from 750 to 947. So it indicates the start of an uptrend. Here's a downtrend, and the MACD cross under short-lived. Same thing here, short-lived downtrend. If you can even call this a downtrend, it kind of just went sideways before eventually going higher. But yeah. So MACD cross under usually means downtrend. MACD crossover means we go up. So, and the fact that everything is lining up, we're breaking out of this downtrend. We're crossing over the MACD. Let's look at QQQ one more time before we move to the watch list. It's important to keep an eye on the market as well and see how it's moving more than anything. But it is looking like a solid reversal here. Even the weekly just completely took out all the sellers here. And let's see, let's look at the monthly here. On the monthly, this just looks like a pullback. That's what it's looking like. We still got a couple more trading days coming, but it looks like a pullback. And that's what it looks like, a pullback in the uptrend. We'll see if this continues, but more than likely, because of the MACD crossover, because it's happening on so many charts, especially the big boys. I mean, let's look at Microsoft here. It should be crossing over as well. So do you see? Oh, Microsoft, what happened to you? but yeah, overall, if you look at SPY QQQ, we're breaking out of the downtrend and going higher. With that in mind, let us look at the watch list here. So here's what you should be keeping an eye on. Google, dividend, first time. I expect this one to continue to go higher over the long term. I bought like a few shares, not many. I think I bought like 15 shares. This is a good one for long term. Let's look at that weekly chart. Now, actually, the monthly is better. But over the long term, you'll notice this thing just keeps going up over the long term. Yes, there's going to be bear markets. There's going to be pullbacks. Yes, that's the 2000. Yeah, that's the crash of 2008 here. But anyways, and then here's this crash, the COVID crash or post-COVID crash, whatever you want to call it. This thing just continues to go higher and higher. So I think it's not only a good long-term investment, but also a good, I would say, 3 month swing. Just buy it, hold it, and then 3 months later take profits. Unless we enter like a bear market, which there's no reason for that. And I mean, something catastrophic would have to happen. So I think Google, good long term hold, especially with the dividend, and good swing trade opportunity as well. Tilray, this one's at a bottom. Let me switch to the weekly. It's a little more clear on the weekly. So this is near the bottom here. Under 170 is a buy, in my opinion. I would still wait to see if we get bounce on the market as a whole. But I mean, you can start accumulating here if you want, but just be ready to take the L if this thing goes under 1.5. The lowest it's gone to is 1.5, and it always has held up above for since June of last year. It's held up above this level. So for almost going on a full year, it's held up this level. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad play. I mean, we like buying bottoms, right? Or as close to the bottom as possible. I'm gonna wait personally and see if it comes down any lower. The monthly, you'll notice the same thing. If anything, on the monthly, it looks like a kind of looks like a bear flag maybe, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the daily is the one telling the story. And right now, this is what I'm seeing. So that's why I'm waiting. I don't like being in wedges. I'd rather just wait and see where this is gonna go, lower or higher. Really, these marijuana stocks, let's be real, they tend to run on the hype of, oh my god, legalization in other states. So it, if we're gonna buy and hold for the next catalyst that sends it, like it did here, here, and here, we may as well just wait to see if it comes down as cheap as 1.5 and then buy there. That is, I'm just gonna wait for that, honestly. Especially, yeah, you always want to get in as cheap as possible. And we'll see if this wedge breaks to the downside or upside. I hope downside. I like buying cheap, guys. So keep an eye on that. If you've already bought it, I mean, I hope you have a strategy, like a stop loss strategy. Soundhound, another one to keep an eye on here. This is more of a breakout play. I would look for a breakout above 452. If it breaks above 452, we're going to 481 and then possibly $5 plus. I would have to break. Yeah, this has to break $5 to go higher. But the first level we need to let me write that for you guys. So we need to get over 452 here, and then get above five. This is a breakout play for sure going into next week. So that's what I'm watching for. ILIS, you want to wait. This is a penny stock, by the way. You want to wait for this one to go down to 007, 0055. It's a slow bleeder. That's how it is with these penny stocks. They bleed real slow. But just be patient. It'll come down. AITX, same thing. Let it bleed real slow. It'll eventually come down. We might get a secondary pop and retest of 47. We might. I mean, it's done it before, right? It has a run, comes down, runs again. A smaller run, shorter move compared to the previous first one, and then it still bleeds down anyways. That's just how it is. That's how the stock likes to behave. We can even go back in time and you'll notice the same thing. It has a huge run, has a run here, pulls back, and has another one, and then it always bleeds. So it always bleeds. So there's no point. There's no point. I'm okay here. If it has another pop, fantastic. Guess what? I already made my 50% on this first one. I'll still wait for it to bleed out. That's just how it is. They still got a long way to go to be worth dollars. First of all, so it's not gonna suddenly run. People talk about the volume, but I'm like, volume doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. Let it run again if it does. If it doesn't, let's buy where we want to buy. We stick to the game plan. We stick to the game plan. I always stick to the game plan. I don't stray from it just because, oh my god, it might run. Nvidia might be good for calls on Monday. This is going to be an options play. Might be good for calls on Monday. We might get another green. Let me see. Look, where's the MACD? We might get. I think it crossed over already today. Yeah, today we got the crossover. So if this, let me see if there's another channel we broke out. So yeah, okay. Let me see. So right here we were trending downward, and then when we broke out, not only did we break out of this downtrend here, previous downtrend, but we ran after the breakout here on this candle from 904 to 967. So very strong candle going into Monday. So definitely an opportunity there for calls, but definitely like it's very volatile. So definitely be careful. Don't just blindly throw calls at it. But essentially, if you do buy calls on Monday, you're betting that it's going to go higher. I would look to buy the dip on Nvidia. That tends to be profitable when we start running like this. But yeah, crossovers usually mean more green. Look at all this green here after that crossover. Here we got a crossover, but the difference is we're crossing over and we're breaking out of a downtrend at the same time. That is the difference. Here's another example. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but yeah, downtrend. We break out of it and we got the crossover and we just go. That's something to keep an eye on. That's a calls play. QIND is it's bottomed out down here at 8 cents. So that is you just want to buy and trade the range here. That's all there is to it. It's not complex. Buy down here when it's cheap under 10 cents, and then when it goes to 12 to 14, take profit in, and that's all there is to it. Make your 20% or 40% depending on how high it goes. SoFi. SoFi has earnings on Monday, so I'm gonna keep an eye on SoFi because usually after earnings, it tends to beat on earnings, but also let me see if I can show you something here. When it does beat on earnings, it has a huge gap up and run. So yeah, that's what I'm watching for. I'm watching for a gap up and run when it beats. When it beats, by the way, not when it it does the opposite when it doesn't beat. So that's what I'm watching for there. And yeah, we'll see what happens on earnings with SoFi. I didn't want to buy nice and cheap down here. You know what's funny is it did move, it did run in anticipation of earnings, so it's kind of interesting. I probably should have bought beforehand, but I really wasn't watching this one, mainly because let's look at the monthly. Yeah, it has support down here at $7, but oh yeah, the reason I didn't buy was because of this. That, my friends, is a descending triangle on the monthly chart. So I was like, man, I'm not touching that. Who knows where that's gonna go? But we'll see what happens with earnings. But that's a good play if it beats on earnings. Palantir, I don't know why I had this one in my radar. Oh, because it's gotten cheaper now. It used to be, yeah, it used to be nice and expensive. I'm watching this one for a breakout, so this is another breakout play. Actually, it already did break out, but I'm looking for a continuation and a retest of 2350 going into Monday as well. So these are all the plays I'm watching for. Some are better than others. Some are swing trades, day trades. Some are just calls. Some you're buying shares and just trading it for the day. Out of all of these, probably the best one would be QND because it's under 10 cents. And Soundhound, the breakout, if that happens. If NVIDIA moves, Soundhound's going to move, and we're going to get a breakout. And it's going to go to 5 plus. So that's a good one. NVIDIA calls again. If NVIDIA starts running like it always does when it breaks out of a downtrend, it's going to have a big move going into 900 plus. So good money for calls there. And Tilray is near a bottom. So that's another good one. But please have a strategy. Don't just, oh, I'm going to buy because he said buy. All right. That's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.